Guys, we're here. We're waiting for Drea de Matteo.
Welcome to
Drinking
the
more,
show.
more dirty chai.
Welcome
More
to
dirty
the
chai.
show, guys.
Should we read some emails?
Yeah.
Look, I really want to. Yeah.
What's that?
It's this
I'll read it.
COVID.
I'll read
split
it.
them.
I really would like to read some emails.
Can I just say one thing
Here,
that I
let's
saw
split 'em up.
recently that's really, it might be a
You
new
want one
thing.
too?
I don't need one. I think, do you think this could be a new thing, Jamie? So remember how, like, I guess this had to start at some point where girls would put their shirts on and they were like, oh, let me lift my boobs to make cleavage?
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a time where girls weren't doing that and then some girl figured it out and it was like, oh, hot. So this girl on Love Island sat down and she went, oh, and she stood up. She lifted her butt back and then sat back
That's
down.
where we're at now.
Because she's
I don't know if I have
enough.
stuff.
Yeah, she definitely did. She had enough back there. But she was one of the ones who looks like she's had a lot of stuff done to her. So it might not be her real butt, but I don't know.
When you were growing up, did you get more attention for your butt or your boobs?
I had no boobs growing up.
Ugh,
I've seen Jamie's boobs.
poor Jamie. You've seen him.
Yeah, remember?
Oh, when they had a
Oh,
nip
in the
slip?
picture.
Yeah.
That's not.
With
That
my
doesn't
father?
count. That doesn't count. I think in order to have consider it a full-on see a boob, it's got to be 95% of
Tara Reid out.
areola and then 85% of the under. So there's a percentage there that works
You
out.
know that? Remember that
What?
moment with Tara Reid where she had no idea that her
Oh,
boob was out?
yeah.
After her
It
surgery?
bothers me. Yeah, it
Yeah.
bothered me so much because I was like, I cannot believe that just the human nobody was like somebody let it go a couple of seconds before they ran in. Maybe they didn't see it, but like those photographers, I don't care how much money you can. That's so wrong.
See, I gotta say, there's a little difference where, like, if it was like,
Me?
yeah, if it was you, like, it did happen to you, yeah, but like, no, if it happened to like somebody who was like the president's
People are Googling
wife,
my
and you're
nip
like,
slip
oh
now.
my god, where like I feel like Tara Reid's tits were just out all the time, and, like she was a wild child back then, so it's like, it's a little. You know, there's something that I've wanted to bring up on this podcast. I'm just gonna do it.
You hooked
Fuck
up
it.
with Tara Reid,
No.
didn't you?
So here's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Do you think, I want to be easy the way I say this. Do you think, because I think as a guy,
Let it fly, dude.
it can be different. Do you think sexual misconduct, whatever you want to call it, at the workplace is all the same? Because I'm saying as a
What do you
guy,
mean?
like if I had a job and there was a smoking hot chick who like, here's the way I think about it, right? If there's a woman where like she's working at a car part plant and they're making car parts and like she's working to the fucking bone, she hates her life, and then some guy comes by and like smacks her ass, it's like, it makes me want to physically throw up. Like the way I feel about it is like, oh my God, that's so horrible. Is there a scale? Is there a difference between that and like when you watch the show on Apple about like, you know, some girl who was like flirting with Matt Lauer and then ended up having sex with him, but she didn't really necessarily want to, but she just like froze up? Or is all sexual?
No, there's a
Stuff the
difference,
same.
but it doesn't lessen the fact that it's all not good.
Yes.
But there are
Of
different
course.
degrees
Agree.
of it.
Agree.
What Harvey Weinstein did is, you know, let's just say that's bad. Let's just put that on towards the badder side of this. You know what?
He's gonna die in prison.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, you know what's interesting is that there was a period of time where we thought he was gonna skate.
You did?
Well,
you really did?
Or he was gonna get like one of those like 18-month like slap on the wrist things.
I didn't know if he was gonna get 23 years, but I would.
No,
I was thinking he was gonna at
that's
least get,
the
like,
point
5.
is that they went all in on
Yeah,
him because
they
it's a
had to.
landmark case.
Oh, I mean the amount of women though. My gosh, and they still didn't use all of them.
No. Anyways, his balls, all that description, it was worth it. Just to go through this whole thing and get
Yeah.
such a vivid description of what
They described his balls?
Yeah, apparently it's
What
like
do
he
they look
almost
like?
doesn't have any. And it's almost like they're like deflated little balloons
Oh,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he's
yeah.
got some scarring or something.
Well, on the
down
on the thing that I sent you months ago, which you haven't watched, which is the story of Roger Ailes, the girls say that his penis, balls, everything looked like chopped meat.
Chop meat?
Yeah. If you would watch the fucking show.
Well, I will.
dude.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Your
Rob's-
girlfriend doesn't let you watch TV. I get it, but
Yeah, I'm on a short leash. I don't get how a penis can look like chopped
Me
meat.
neither. I'm really trying to picture it.
well,
I can see
I
it
don't think we've
looking-
seen a lot of 70-year-old, 300-pound. You know what I mean? Like after I'm at 40s, 50s,
I should study
60s.
boners more. I think there's a lot to learn in what a ball dick combo can look like. But chopped meat would not be one of the things I.
Well, in porn,
Chop
you're not
meat.
seeing any of like the horrible fucking ones, right? You're seeing all these guys who like went in a room and they were like, "Yeah, that dick was good. Throw that on camera." They're not like, "Oh, it's all chopped meat, but he fucks like a rabbit."
Do you have a dick that you remember as just being not good?
No,
I thought
They've
you were
all
gonna
been
say
solid?
the best.
no.
I wonder if I was ever like a girls were like they remember like, oh, that guy is just a lame dick. You know what I mean? I wonder if I was that. I wonder if I was a lame dick to
No.
anyone.
I know
No.
no girl has ever remembered me as the great one. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I like to consider myself right in the middle of the pack. You know what I mean? But
That's nice.
you know, what if I hooked up with that one girl who only had the big ones? You know what I mean? Who just by chance, there's got to be a percentage of women, a small percentage of women that have only had like 8+ inch dudes.
Jamie-Lynn.
And I was her one regular guy, and then she'll always remember me as the lame dick. You know?
It's possible.
That's what we call you when you're not around.
Lame dick.
But it has nothing to do with your penis.
That's what you are on my phone as.
Yeah, old lame dick.
Right.
Oh, lame
All the
dick
stuff
over
I'm
there.
going through, not even including COVID-19 virus, and this is what I get
This
to
might
walk
make you feel
into.
better, okay?
Yes.
Hello, Jamie, Kassem, and Rob. I've been enjoying your podcast so much for the last few months. I'm a senior in college studying for the MCAT, and it really helps me break up the day. I didn't know anything about The Sopranos because I'm 22, but I have tried to get into it. I heard about your podcast because I've always loved Kassem. I used to listen
yeah.
to the Shaytards podcast when the kids go to sleep, and I loved the episode with Kassem on it called Aliens, Porn, and Kassem G. I listened to this episode
me
in
in a
middle
nutshell.
school in a very rough time in my life, and it really helped shape some of my views on religion. Believe it or not, this episode was filmed when we were waiting to see if Obama or Mitt Romney was going to be elected. You all should definitely talk about religion on the podcast. I'm hoping you will have Shay on the podcast because it would be really interesting for him and Rob to talk about their experiences with alcohol together. I love you guys, and I hope to have the show in my life for a long time. Abigail.
Well, thanks, Abigail. You know, I think when I did that, my friend Shay had a podcast, and I was a pretty like devout atheist at the time, but I've really changed in how I perceive religion. I think I still believe in the core idea that religion, if you were to take the golden rule aspect of religion, you know, treat people how you would want to be treated, don't steal, don't, you know, the
The
core,
Ten Commandments.
those things are magic.
Sure.
You know, when it starts getting into a lot of the,
Money, guilt.
there's a lot of stuff that I don't agree
Sins.
with, but I do think that it is better to live with a set of guidelines than it is to not.
Agree. Well, because you could feel it grounds you.
It grounds you, and I think it's important to have some level of faith in something. I don't think you have to believe in a capital God God. I do think a faith in something else helps.
I'm with you. with
And
you.
that, you know, a lot of people consider that like spiritual or whatever. I don't know, but all I know is that at one point I was like, there's nothing. When we die, there's nothing. I'm an atheist. I'm really fun at parties. And then now it's like the ego it takes to know for sure is like not something I'm comfortable with.
I know.
And I think some sort of uncertainty is important in humbling ourselves. And yeah, I would say I have a faith. It's not in a specific religion. I grew up I grew up in the Middle East, so there was a lot of praying five times a day. But as soon as my parents moved, they didn't continue. I think they were just doing it because they were in
We're
that
taught
environment.
right.
And I wasn't raised religious, other than the fact that for the first 4 years of my life, I lived in the Middle East. When we moved to the United States, I didn't go to church. It wasn't a thing. I was exposed to religion by my neighbors and people I went to school with. And I was awkward around religion because I didn't really have one, so I didn't feel like I could add anything to any sort of conversation. But yeah, that's kind of where I've landed now as a 36-year-old man, is like faith is cool, don't have to necessarily define it, and like treat treat people. There's some stuff in that Bible that's good information.
There is.
Preach.
Whether it's the Mormon book, First Testament, Last Testament, the Quran. I mean, there's something in all those books that I think that we can take.
Definitely.
There she is.
Oh, hell yeah.
This fucking bitch. Hurry up, get in, sit down.
I like to gyrate.
We're going right now. We're not stopping.
Dude,
So
is that
sit down.
real tree? You got real tree on?
Ginger, baby, I love you so much. So Jamie's going to leave in a little bit, and then you're going to come in. Yes, you are. Ginger's coming in. Listen, how could you were here 10 minutes ago, and it took you 10 minutes to get 18 feet. What is wrong with you?
Look, let her sit down.
God.
Let her take off her
No,
jacket.
I'm not,
And
okay?
take off more
You
than
weren't
that if
dealing
you
with
want.
her for the last fucking 48 hours with her coronavirus and this. Listen, here's the way I look at
He
it.
needs you to explain what kind of level of sickness that you're at and how you're doing. And
Listen,
and we also need to keep it.
here's the way I look
Everything
at it.
she touches, we need to.
Over your head?
You can put little covers on your little ear thingy.
Listen, Drea, sometimes you help an old lady with her groceries. Sometimes you help an old lady cross the street. And sometimes you help an old lady start a podcast. And that's what we're doing here. Because Drea de Matteo is starting her own podcast.
Yes!
Hey, congrats.
Wow, you're helping an old lady start a podcast.
Dude, you have the coronavirus. What are you? You're done.
I don't want to get you guys sick.
Oh, stop.
That's a good idea too.
I don't want to get you all sick.
Hey, good to
Hold
see
on.
you, by the
Should
way.
we do that?
It's like a little condom.
Yeah, should we all do that?
Oh, you have it on your ears.
Yeah, that's what they're for.
Yeah, well, you don't want to put the thing on, huh? You don't want to put headphones. You don't even have to. It's
I'm
fine.
put one on my tip.
Give her the hand
Yeah.
There you
sanitizer.
go.
Hey, you want a squirt of this?
I'm a germaphobe, but I'll take that.
I just shit in the woods hand sanitizer.
Oh, that's my favorite. I have it too.
There you go.
I'd love some.
The best is how everyone touches the hand sanitizer, and then you're just
Yeah, but then
all
after
dying.
it's all done.
It's
all
like,
done.
I have that problem in the bathroom where you touch the handle to close it after you wash
Is your
hands.
kid's school closed?
We on the way right before leaving here, I got 40 phone calls. That's why I never left the house. But I couldn't believe they kept calling in the middle of the day while the kids were in school. That
You
made
left me a
nervous.
message saying that you were taping up your tits.
Yeah, that was that too.
Yeah, that's
That
what, and
was-
I'm not joking. That's
that
what
was
she
my
said.
later message.
Yeah, you said I have to
the
tape up
real
my
message,
tits.
as I was when I realized that we were really late when Ginger and I left the house, I had gotten like 12 phone calls from the school, and then Shooter texted me from on the road like I think I'm coming home. He's not an alarmist. He would never. He's like, take the kids out of school.
Yeah.
I was
And
like,
Shooter is your ex-husband, so
my
people
ex,
know
yeah.
what's
And
going
he
on.
doesn't. He doesn't freak out, and he's a conspiracy theorist. And the two of us have not bought into any of this coronavirus bullshit yet. And
I think we have to.
now we
Yeah.
have no toilet paper.
Oh, God. I can share some because my husband, this is what he's been waiting for, and we have so much
You
toilet
have a lot
paper.
of toilet paper.
We have enough for the year.
Wait, when you
I
say
have
you
a lot
don't
of
buy,
house guests.
Oh,
Trey,
well,
when you say you
need
don't-
some of my toilet paper then.
when you say you don't buy into it, does that mean you haven't like gotten into the panic mode, or you
Yeah.
just flat out don't believe that there's a coronavirus?
I haven't gotten into the panic mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm an anxiety
I'm the
attack
same.
lunatic, and I've been really trying to cool out on that. And in doing that, I have become so sort of nothing affects me now.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
sort of like, wow, man, dude, this is fucking like end of days.
Well, something affected you yesterday that I want you to talk about, which is I did your podcast and you yelled at your producer big time, and I want to hear
What's it called, by the way? Did we say it?
what made woman, made woman,
Made
Women.
women.
Wait a second. You were there for that?
made. You told me about it.
Oh, you can't.
What are you talking about? This is what you do. Let me tell you something right now. If you're arguing with that dude, by episode 2, everyone's gonna know. When you sit in a room for 3 hours talking, you're not gonna be hiding stuff from people. Just fucking talk about it, and that's what's gonna get people to listen. People don't want to hear your fucking pretend life and that you're not really arguing. The interesting shit is that you're arguing with that dude because it's funny. Because you didn't like So here's the deal.
Take her to school,
Ginger's
Rob.
like,
Me and Drea
I
wanted to.
feel a little hot right now.
Me and Drea. well,
Hell yeah.
You weren't worried about his thoughts
Sweater.
yesterday, but here's the deal. Me and Drea wanted to sit around and talk about old times and stupid shit and this, and he wanted to direct the show, which he should. He's the producer, towards more of like a
format.
In this scene, what were you guys thinking and
Right,
this,
right,
and me and her are talking about like, doing fucking coke and or me or whatever, just silly shit. So what happened when I left?
He was just slightly perturbed that we never stuck to the format and didn't go through scene by scene of the show because it's a rewatch podcast. And I had said early on, maybe when we have guests, it's not necessarily a rewatch because you can't.
Well, that's hard. Yeah.
Rely on a guest to talk about scene by scene. These kids haven't even watched the show.
And it was also 20-something years ago. It's hard
It's
to
also
remember.
like 50 scenes in a fucking episode.
Yeah. But you said you wanted to be like not just a rewatch, but like a relive, relate.
Right.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, so we're relating to the episodes more than just explaining each scene by scene.
I also think people are probably a lot more interested in hearing about like your dynamics and your relationship because they can watch the show and feel what they feel themselves. And
people
give them a lot of insight, and the things you say are really wonderful, but it's also like exciting to hear two people that were on the show just conversate.
Yeah, and people have analyzed the show to death. It's like we don't need to keep doing it 10, 15 years later.
But there is something in this whole rewatch.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think it's great.
We don't have Pellegrinos at our podcast.
Oh, that's the thing.
Bryce.
We threw the producer away who bosses us around, got Pellegrino.
Lemon and lemon zest.
This
Get
one's
Bryce. You
really
should get
good.
Bryce. He's fucking awesome.
Tangerine. Ooh, you got cherry pomegranate.
I know. Do you want a cherry? It's
Oh, we
really
have
good.
choice.
See, I think this is why the producer gets mad at you because we're trying to talk about something and you're looking off at butterflies and cherry
This
pomegranate.
is me, man.
And I love it.
This is me.
I love you
I'm on
so
another
much.
fucking planet.
So much. I had such a good time with you yesterday. We spoke for
I
like
did
3
too.
hours.
That was long. I felt bad.
No,
afterwards.
no,
I was
you
like,
shouldn't feel
holy
bad.
Shit.
Besides the fact that you might have coronavirus because you are actually sick, that is bad.
But you don't get a stuffy nose from Corona.
You do. You actually get a stuffy nose to the point where thank you.
I thought it's a
Bryce.
sore throat first.
The stuffy nose they say is like you can't. It's so stuffed up that you feel like you're
drowning.
drowning.
But you said your kids are sick and kids don't get corona, so it's not corona.
I caught it from them.
Yeah, so it's not corona.
They can carry it.
They can.
Yeah,
carry
but they
it,
don't
they
show
get
symptoms.
sick.
They don't show symptoms.
No,
Apparently not.
Yeah, just let me know if I should be freaking out or not.
We have the flu.
no. If I did it,
The flu.
Okay.
if I did it,
Classic.
Yeah, I went to her. I was in a room with her for 3 hours yesterday. So what happened when I left? Come on. So did you yell at him? You said you yelled at him. So come on.
No, he was saddened about the fact that we did not stick to any of the structure of the show.
But
Producer's
we did.
life.
We spoke
am I
about
right?
some scenes and we talked about that stuff. We talked about an hour and a half of fun shit, and then we went and talked about. We went through the scenes and what was going on here, and then we did that.
I thought look. I was really happy. So at the end of the show, and he was just sort of like, "Well, I was like, oh fuck, man. I think I just got reactive instead of being cool about it. I was just like, excuse me. I thought that was a really great show.
Yeah.
And I'm sick as fuck. I can't believe I'm doing anything right now.
Yeah.
But they're feeling pressured because they want to
Yeah, I
put
was
it
gonna say
out.
he feels like he had the energy of just like.
Oh, because you were with him too.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's excited and he wants it to be great, and he feels like there's pressure. You can definitely feel
Yeah,
that.
well, because he's got other people that he's dealing with,
right.
that really want this to be a rewatch. And I don't know anything about podcasts. Rewatch a fangule mamma. I don't know what rewatch is.
So wait, you talk about how was your guys' episode that you did together?
Great.
I mean, I clammed up. First of all, I was medicated beyond belief, and I couldn't.
You were wonderful.
I let Chris.
You're so
handle.
hard on
I let
yourself.
Chris handle
Yeah,
that whole day.
Chris kind of led the show, but we talked a lot about. We covered the college episode. So we talked a lot about this gym and everything that I learned on that show.
Tastes like
That
booze.
episode doesn't it taste good?
Tastes like alcohol.
Mm-hmm. It's like a White Claw.
Oh,
Go for it, Cass.
but then we got like
relapse,
deep.
baby.
We got deep about just like life and reflective on like post things and right?
Yeah.
You both
Yeah.
said the same thing to me about it, which was tears were shed.
Oh really?
You
Yeah.
both said that same thing
Yeah.
when you talked about the episode.
Yeah, but that's like a given with me.
Me too.
Love crying.
What were you crying
You love
about?
crying. You said
Love crying.
you do. I fucking hate crying.
You've done it a
Love
couple
it.
times
but I
on
do
this
it a
pod.
lot.
Have I ever cried
It
here?
was on the early ones when we were like getting real heavy. The first two.
I cried at Dr. Drew made me cry and I didn't want to
Oh,
cry.
yeah,
Was he on your show?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to cry and he was trying to make me cry. He was trying to break me.
Yeah.
I didn't let him, but I did tear up. And because I felt Rob's little hand like come here. Not your little hand,
I
but
would've
your
cried.
No, he has
Say
tiny
it.
hands. Let's say it. Show him.
It's okay,
little-
James.
He's
Rob's
cute.
tiny
This
little
is actually a
fingers.
16-ounce bottle of water.
What's up with all your fancy bottles of water that you have all the time?
Rob likes to hydrate.
He's
I'm a big
into water.
You know what it is? I kind of put all the money I used to spend on alcohol into drinking fancy water now. I'm
Yeah.
like,
I
I want
like it.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing. But this, by the way, it's Poland Spring,
No,
guys.
I know
so
it is,
let's
but the
not go
bottle's
crazy.
really chic, man.
Yeah, well, this is what Amazon delivers in
matches
time of
his
crisis.
shirt. He matches his bottles to his clothing.
Yeah.
Oh.
So what did you guys cry about? I want to know what you cried about. I'm not touching this microphone.
I think the thing that got me the most was when you said, I'm not going to be able to totally,
Reiterate it.
yeah, but it was about how you felt as though hanging on to having MS would, well,
It was
say
almost
say
just
you
like
say
it's like a realization I had that I felt like if you're gonna live with the idea that like we manifest trauma and hold on to it in our bodies and it comes out physically in certain things, like part of my reason of like holding on to it is because it felt like it would always ensure me that people would love me. Because nobody would really ever feel threatened by me. Nobody would ever not like me because I had this. So it was like this, it was like that kind of light bulb that had gone off for me of being like, oh, I don't need that. I used to really feel like I needed that for that because I felt very unsafe growing up and didn't trust that love was available to me. So having the MS was like my insurance. Like
That's a great
card.
breakthrough. All for free on your podcast.
amazing. No, but
Yeah.
it's like it becomes part of your identity too.
For sure, exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
And so many people do need shit like that because they're so unloved. And I feel like you so don't. You know what I mean? Like I feel like so many people do love you and you have that. Like I, obviously going through life, 35 years, you spend a lot of time with a lot of people, and you're one of those people where it's like, I never met anyone who was like, oh, that fucking Jamie. Like I don't like
Wow.
everybody.
I'm sure that's
Drea, a little
I
bit
was
on her
like
pod.
that a few
Yeah.
times. I was like,
For sure.
"Fucking Jamie's here
Yeah.
now."
But in 22, 23, now it's like 23 years. It's like, man, I don't have anything bad to say. If somebody had a gun to my
He
head,
just doesn't like that I had a gender reveal party.
yeah, that's
a
horrible.
gender
but that's-
reveal party.
Ugh, she had like, is it a boy
Well,
or
we
a
were
girl?
fine,
Let's
yeah,
have
we had
all
a
of my
party
friends
for
come
baby.
over because
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, you're talking about the babies. I was like, is this some other weird shit that
I'm really a woman. No.
Wow, Jamie, you got a big dick?
If I had one, it would be.
Oh, he's sanitizing.
Aw.
He's guy's getting worried.
Did I spit or something?
Even Jamie has a bigger dick than us.
Damn it, Jamie.
So what are sort of things that you have come up against in this podcast that like why'd you do the podcast first of all? Why'd you do it? Everyone's got one. Why you?
Okay. I remember I was coming here to do your first podcast.
One of our
You were our
best
first
apps.
guest. Was
Yeah.
she our first guest?
First guest.
First
yeah,
guest.
She's the best.
Oh,
First best
that's
guest.
Nice. You guys were our first guests.
Oh.
Oh, we had a therapist first.
Yeah. I underscore.
Yes. You walked in on me trying to promote his Instagram page. That was tough. Why did we do this? Okay, well, my partner and I, Chris Kushner, we were starting a brand originally. We were starting an alcohol brand.
And
That-
you don't drink, right?
No, I do.
You still do?
I mean, I don't really anymore. If I drink, I'll drink the drink that she makes. But she got me to drink again, sort of. Good friend. I wasn't necessarily
real
sober.
gem.
I just don't care about drinking.
What does she have? Like a bathtub full of moonshine in her house?
Yeah, she
It
makes
sounds like one of
this
your friends.
Awesome drink. It used to be.
Yeah.
But so we started working on this brand and we were doing all this stuff for it. And then we sort of fizzled out, burnt out on it. And I was going to do a bunch of different podcasts and she's my best buddy that I hang out with. So she was just like, why don't we do a podcast? And I was like, about what? And she was like, we'll just talk about our own bullshit and life and whatever. And we came up with an idea that we really just wanted to deal with people that have either failed royally in their lives or something awful had happened or just whatever.
That's why you
thing
had me
sort
and
of-
Jamie.
Well, that's a Sopranos
Yes.
rewatch. But anything that kind of broke someone down and how they came back from it. That was the premise of our show. And we went to this, somebody came to us and then we sort of went back and forth in this whole thing. And they said, we want to do a podcast with you guys, but we want to do a Sopranos rewatch first. So It was really like, let's just get this done, and then we can move on to the things that we really want to do. But if you
Kind of
think
like
about,
you're doing both.
well, it's sort of, because when I said yes to doing the rewatch, even though I was really tentative about it, I'm more tentative about it now that I'm actually in it, and I realize how much work it is, because it's a huge responsibility to a show like The Sopranos to make sure you get a fucking rewatch right and you're doing it justice, because the show was so much. It was not, you can't just go scene by scene and talk about it like it's, yeah, so in this scene, you know, Carmela does this, and there's so much underneath everything. But as far as what we had originally intended to do, the show, this particular rewatch is the perfect place to sort of blend those things, because the show deals with so much psychoanalysis and all these different sort of personality disorders, not disorders, but everybody has their thing, you know, like Adriana was this major codependent, God knows. I mean, I never realized how much I was like my character until now. I mean, looking at the show and in the rearview mirror and seeing all those sort of issues that were on the show. That's why I kept saying to you guys, go back and watch it. You guys will freak out because of how evolved Tony Soprano was. You guys should watch it together.
We should.
At my house. I'll make you a nice mozzarella antipasto.
Depending on how
When
long
she's
this
feeling
fucking coronavirus lockdown is, we might get to the point
Come
where
to my house. I have the toilet paper.
we might get to the point where there's nothing left to watch, and we
I'm
have
out
to
of
watch
TP
it.
already.
Here, give him
I
some
didn't
of
wipe
those.
my ass
one.
this morning.
There's
You
a bidet
didn't?
in there.
Is that what took you
There's
so
a
long?
bidet in there with a neon light in it.
Listen, if this was
Yeah.
15 years ago,
Yeah,
I would have
yeah.
wiped your ass for you,
What's that
babe.
party
Oh,
like?
But
baby.
now, God, that 50-year-old
now
ass.
that I'm old, I
God.
need to have my ass wiped more because
Well, you should have let me in
Robbie!
back then. If
Open
you
up a
Talk
Patreon.
about flossing our buttholes with our
with
long
our
hair.
long hair, it's the best feeling
We did
ever.
talk about that.
wait, what? When you're in the shower?
There's a fetish for that.
You know, when you're washing your hair, it like falls down your back into your butt, so it's like part of your
Yeah.
thing. And when it ends up kind of flossing.
You know
your
what it's like
butt.
for us?
Pull it
I
out
know
of
what
your
I know
asshole.
exactly.
Okay,
what
well,
you're go ahead, should I write it
Out of
down?
your dick
Okay,
hole?
hold
Write it
on.
down.
Look the other way. Look
Okay,
the other
all
way.
right.
The hair
All right.
stuck in the dick hole.
Well, our version of that.
Yeah. My boyfriend mentioned it to me yesterday when I told him that we were talking about the hair in the
did?
asshole. He goes, "Oh, I've had that in my dick before."
Go ahead, Cass.
Okay. I think it's when you're in the shower and
Oh,
you
no.
blow your nose and you get snot in your pubes. That's what you
Ooh, that's
wrote.
a good one.
That's not what Rob
disgusting.
wrote at all. What
No,
did
that's
you write?
exactly what I wrote. No, I didn't write that.
What did you write?
When a girl's about to blow you and you feel her hair like all on your legs and like all
I
that's
don't have
that's
that much
nice.
experience.
Oh, that's
Have you ever
nice.
had a blumpkin?
No,
Oh.
come on. What do I look like?
What's
a
a blumpkin?
A blumpkin is when you get a. Go ahead, you tell him.
No, you do it.
No, you
Where you
can't-
get-
far
where
away
you get a-
going?
Hold on.
I want to see it come out of your
It's
mouth.
close.
If you're gonna
Can we get a
fucking- I
close
just-
up on Jamie's face?
Just came over. Go ahead, tell her.
It's where as a man.
No. Let her.
Oh,
tell
oh,
her.
yeah.
Tell her what it is.
When a man is sitting on the toilet taking a shit and he's getting his dick sucked.
People do that?
It's beautiful.
Well, that she brought it up.
My headphones.
Jamie's head just spun
Isn't
around
that
like the
Gene
Exorcist.
Simmons? Isn't that a Gene Simmons thing? Why does Gene Simmons' name come
Oh,
up?
I don't know. No,
Did
yeah.
you blow him while he was on a toilet in a camper somewhere, on a tour bus?
It seems like a
I-
rock star
what,
move for
what
sure.
does are you at a race for time that you're like we only have time to blow you and we have 5 minutes. Yeah, you gotta take a shit.
The coronavirus is around the corner. I got to shit and come.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wait, I literally this is the last time I'm leaving my house. I'm being
It
told
is?
to go be quarantined.
Who told you?
My doctor, because someone in my kids' school community has it. And my husband's racing home from work right now to pick
Are
him
you
up.
kidding?
No.
You're risking your life to do this.
For you.
You hear that, guys?
I was
Just to
so
promote
worried just to
Dre's
get you
podcast.
sick, period, with the 2 little babies at home.
And by the way, I never get sick. Like when always people are sick around like that, I never get it.
Well, your immune system is so insane because those kids are always sick. Your kids are always sick.
Are
Yeah.
you more likely to get corona if you are sick or
If you
less
have
likely?
if you have respiratory issues or you're immunosuppressant, and I
Are you immunosuppressed, though? A little bit?
I take immunosuppressant medication.
That's what worried me.
So that's what I take. So
Wait, you were so worried that you locked her in a room with you for 2 hours?
I wanted to cancel the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
I
You're
did.
really worried.
I wanted to cancel. It
Have such a
wasn't
big
me.
heart you
I
have,
told her it was
Dre.
worth it. It was.
Well, no, of course, yeah. It was
I
all
was
good.
really sick the day she was there.
You were.
Like
You were not
psycho
feeling well.
sick,
I
like
know.
fever, everything.
I know.
Really? Were you worried at all, Jamie? Were you like, oh my god, I'm
No,
gonna get
I don't
corona
worry-
for
I
this
don't
bitch?
worry like
I
that.
literally didn't speak. I stayed in the corner and didn't talk.
we were
I just
far away from
cried.
each other.
I was
God,
like
that
this.
makes you even hotter.
Yeah, let's get back to that whole sexual thing between you guys.
No, you know what I realized yesterday doing your podcast?
No?
Well, no, I mean it's always there. She can't
It's
fucking
always
turn it
there.
off. We don't have to address it.
Yeah.
Is this when I should leave? Because I do have to leave.
Do you have to leave right
I
now?
do have to leave.
You know who's coming in?
No, I gotta move my car.
No.
yeah.
As you're
We're
leaving
pausing.
and then coming in, we're not gonna pause. We're just gonna let it go. Oh no, we could. You're just gonna leave, right?
No, what you should do is just like snap it and then just see Ginger in here.
Okay, producer. Damn.
Hi guys.
So you know what's weird? You know what I realized yesterday about myself, which I'm sure I knew on a certain level, but yesterday drive in the car worrying about you getting me sick, and this took up my whole ride, which was like, I actually think I do feel more loved being made fun of and like joking around with a friend than when I do when they're like actually showing me love and like trying, because it was obviously a 2.5 hour podcast and you tried to say very nice things about me and be like, you're so good, and during that I'm like,
It made you feel
like,
weird.
We're
Yeah,
the
like-
same
Yeah.
person.
yeah,
you and
I just don't want to hear. But then when you're like, you little fucking shit, and this, I'm like, oh, we love each other
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much. Like
yeah.
I feel that's how I feel, and it's been since I was 7-8 years old with my friends. Everybody, it's like, oh, my best friends were the ones who like, whereas like we just sat around making fun of each other.
Yeah,
Or-
no, I totally identify with that. I'm the same way. It's
Yeah.
easier. It's way easier to just make fun and even talk about my own problems that are serious ones with a real. I mean, you got to have levity anyway, but to be able, I don't know. I thought about yesterday too. I was like, well, we talked about all of our addictions and stuff, but we never talked about why we were addicted to anything and what the real issues were underneath any of that shit. We just talked about the fluff of it all,
Right.
you know.
And how we try to fix ourselves or try every
Yeah.
day to fix ourselves.
We didn't talk about,
Yeah, it's
the
typically
real reason
started-
why we were fucked up and why
Yeah.
we needed to go
Well, the
hide.
reason
Or
we don't really talk about that is because there's other people involved in those stories that we don't want to talk about them.
I fucking talk about anything. At
All right,
this
let's
point
go.
in
Why are
life.
you a fucking mess?
Well, let's see.
Let's
I
have
have to reparent myself. You see.
Let's have it.
I don't
Wait,
wanna do it. I don't want to do it.
You hate when people say like, "You're so good and I love you." There, you won an Emmy. That must have been the craziest.
Yeah,
like,
but it was.
Yeah, where do you keep it?
Yeah, I used to keep it in the bathroom.
Yeah?
really.
Right on top of the toilet
Okay,
tank?
That
in
was,
case
again,
in case you're
me
ever constipated, you could stick one of those
downplaying
wings
shit.
up there,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Wait.
If I was still on opioids.
Yeah, exactly. When you don't shit for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So wait, when you hate people recognizing you for doing a thing, compliments and this, and then you find out you're nominated for an Emmy, how is the process go? Like, were you freaking out about, like, how did you feel when you got the phone call like you're nominated for an Emmy? Were you suspicious before you might be?
I heard that there was a possibility. I never really thought about stuff like that. It was nice to be nominated and it was nice to be a part of all that. As you could see by my speech, we were all there, right?
Yeah, but I don't remember what you
I
said.
don't remember.
I was blacked out.
I was blacked out.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I didn't know what I said. I did not want to be there. I just would have rather someone else just go there and take the award, and that whole thing just does not. It's part of the reason why I probably don't even act as much as I should have in the past, God knows how many years. I just don't know how to be a part of that world.
Yeah, I think we all struggled with
To go
that.
talk on a stage,
Yeah.
to say thank you, and I'd rather just thank everybody individually in private. I don't need it to be a public statement. I didn't want to be on stage.
It's the business side of show business that,
Very
I mean,
nervous.
if you're not good at it, the people that are superstars in the world are like, who give great speeches or are okay actors, but some people are just really good at playing the business side of show business and go really far. As a person who appreciates great acting, I like that. It's like why I like Daniel Day-Lewis so much is because he does his thing. He leaves it all there. And then he goes and retreats. He goes back to fucking Ireland or wherever and just, cobbles.
And makes
or
shoes.
Yeah. And he'll just, and it's like, that's the ultimate, like, that guy's a true artist. It's like the people that go up and you always see them at award shows and they give a great speech every time and they're doing the circuit of all the interviews. I always get a little like, it's like, you're playing the game, you know. And
Some people are just good speakers.
Some
I
people
can't
are good,
speak, man.
and it doesn't mean they're not a great actor or performer. I just like the guys who have a little more mystique, you know, that go away. You know, Brad Pitt was that way a little bit up until recently.
Did you like Joaquin Phoenix's speech and all the stuff he did?
Yeah, it made me itch, but yeah, I do. I actually do like. I like what he used his platform for, and you know, a lot of people were like, "Yeah, what a weirdo." But I think the dude gets to do whatever he wants with that time up there.
Yeah,
And-
why not?
and-
Everybody should
yeah,
be able
and
to
what the
say
fuck
whatever
did you
they want to
say?
say.
What did you say when you were up
A
there?
whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I said nothing. I made a fool of myself, I'm pretty sure.
Was it surprising to you, like when they called you up? Did you expect it? Part of you were like expecting it, or was it more like you didn't know? Because I never know what, and I'll never know what it's like. But the people sitting there, most of the time, I feel like, yeah, you probably know you're gonna win that award.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I don't really remember back that far, but you know, it's like 70 years ago. But I don't know what was first. The Emmys, the SAG Awards, the Golden Globes had it. What is the because I was nominated for all of them, and maybe by the Emmy I would have known. But if the Emmy was first, then I wouldn't have known. I don't.
yeah, because it's kind of a tell when you get that first one.
I don't know. But I didn't get any of the other awards, so.
My friends made fun of me when we won, because we won the SAG award and everybody gets a SAG award. And I was like 14, you know, and my friends came over and they're like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a SAG award." So all my friends started to think that I won an award for having saggy nuts. And they called me Soggy Nah for like 5 years. Like
That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Soggy Nah.
No, it was just because at first it was like, "Oh, what's up, saggy nuts?" And then it was like, "Oh, what's up, sag?" And then it was like, "Oh, soggy nah." And then it just became like a comfortable.
Saggy-nah.
And it was like, "Oh, soggy nah."
I get it. I see.
I
I
don't know.
see.
Yeah.
I don't like that one.
Cute.
So you're coming home with the award, thinking everybody's gonna be so happy for you, and then they shit all over your.
So you have one of
accomplishments.
those.
We have a few of them.
What
I
is
yeah,
it?
I gave one to my uncle. I think my mom has one.
Nice.
Yeah, I would have given one to Kassem, but
Yeah,
I
you don't
knew
have any.
he liked this stuff so
I
much.
So
don't
you have a
think I
little bit of
ever got
mystique.
one.
I like that.
A little bit of mystique.
Yeah, when it comes to that sort of stuff.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you don't care about the award.
Oh, I mean,
So
what am I
much.
gonna do with it?
I never cared about mine either, and then I realized maybe I should.
You should a little bit. Emmy's a big
I
fucking
said I was going
deal.
to throw it off a Laurel Canyon a million times because I felt like after I won that award that things got progressively more and more difficult in the acting world.
What do you mean?
Well, what
But I
happened?
feel like that might happen. I don't know why, but I feel like all the actresses that win, when they talk like this on a roll, they usually have a little bit of a hard time afterwards.
Yeah,
Oh.
you're talking about
crazy?
being typecast.
All right, Ginger's
think
coming
so.
on now. Come on, Ginger. Ginger's gonna sit right here. Get in
Get
there,
in,
Ginger.
Gengi.
So,
She's shy.
just so everybody knows, this is one of my favorite people on the entire planet, and I'm gonna
That's
let
a good
her.
endorsement. That's a great endorsement.
I'm gonna let her explain.
Not me. I don't like her.
I'm gonna let her explain her job to you guys. What she did. What
Ginger.
were you?
Ginger's
Hi,
gonna be nervous
Ginge.
right now.
Oh, I love Ginge so
Nervous.
much. Are
You
you?
can put those
Love
headphones
it.
on if you want.
Really?
Don't put the headphones on.
Jamie's germs are on.
Don't worry.
need 'em.
Nobody
I don't
watches
need 'em.
this.
You
so
don't
you
want
don't.
them.
You don't have to worry.
Jen, you
Yes.
nervous right now? I'm just going to interview her. It's you and me, right? We're
Yeah.
gonna fucking attack
A little
her.
bit.
But
Go
wait,
ahead.
no.
Yes.
Explain to everybody what you did.
On The Sopranos?
Yeah, yeah.
I was a PA. I was the first team PA. So
Which
I
are
was
people out there who don't know,
responsible for all of the cast.
get the microphone closer.
We were very poorly
I was-
behaved.
I was responsible from when you guys arrived, making sure you got to hair and makeup, if you wanted something to eat, a
Sausage,
salami
egg, and
sandwich.
cheese. Oh, yes, lunch.
Yeah.
You were responsible for getting Aida's chicken salad.
That's right, mommy's chicken salad.
We said that exact thing on here, so people
Yeah.
know. We had
Yes.
Aida on here, and
Yeah.
she said that exact
Mommy's
thing.
chicken salad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mommy needs her chicken salad.
You were,
I took care of you guys.
you were the best at it of anybody I've ever seen,
well,
and you were,
thank
and like, I think what happens is with a position like that is like people struggle. Is it like, am I going to be your friend or am I going to be like a work person? Because there's going to be times where I have to say, and you were so good at like doing both,
Finding
it was
the balance.
seamless, and also
Yeah.
in our show, the way it was, people gravitated towards a certain group, and somehow you fit in with every single fucking person, every crew. Like I feel like
It's still like that for her.
Jim loved you, Drea, me, Jamie. It's like everybody who dealt with you was like, yeah, she's the best. Like that's so rare.
You guys must have been
I love
scared
you
when I
guys.
stole her from the show.
Here, wear the headphones so you could know, because you got to talk into the mic.
Oh, okay. So and then I gotta hear myself.
No, it's good.
No, I don't like it.
Yeah.
What about
I don't like it.
the fact that she only came in on season 4? You would
That
think
can't be true.
That is
that's
true.
fucking
You showed
true.
up on season 4?
Yeah. And no one ever believes that. Like whenever I talk to you guys, like she and I were talking about it the other day.
I was floored, and then I stole her for a year because after
Right.
I died,
I came out here with
she
her.
came out with me.
Well, she did
I
Joey.
asked her if she would leave
Push
the
the mic
production.
over. Push the mic over a little.
Still not close
Push
enough?
the arm over so that it's this way.
I like your
Do-
setup.
what do I
Because
look
when you
fucking-
look at mine.
Yeah, you do. Because when
I
you turn
mean,
that
what
when you
the
turn that way and
fuck?
talk to Dre, they're gonna say we can't hear her.
You guys have more cameras than we do at our fancy production. I think
Yeah.
you might have better mics than we do. At
well,
our
we're 6
fancy
months in. You
production.
haven't released a single episode.
Yeah, they're
so-
saving money on the rent.
yeah. You're in a building. We're in
in
a
the back
garage.
of some
Yeah.
chop
We have
shop.
no lights.
Yeah, this cup is here to actually catch rainwater when it drips on the thing. There's not a coffee in there.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you brought happiness to everybody.
Oh, well, thank you.
I really
I loved it. I mean, 20-something years later, we're all family. It's
Yeah.
like,
Why do you
still.
get along? How do you get along so well with people? Do you come from a big family? What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
is
come
that
from a
what
really
happened?
big Puerto Rican
She has a
family
lot of cousins.
in New
So
York.
you're just used to dealing with
Cousins.
personalities and like where to, how to immerse yourself in like a already working sort of environment.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it had to do with that I'm just like, what you see is what you get. No
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I feel like in this industry, there's
it
so
your
much
first
bullshit.
job?
No, I
Yeah.
had been doing it for a little bit.
Okay.
But I think people just appreciate the honesty, right?
Yeah.
And just being straight up.
So
She's
what?
she's
what
twat.
what makes a good PA a great PA?
I mean, I would say anticipating and communicating
Mm-hmm.
are two of the bigger things, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a director or an assistant director that's like, hey, I need you to deliver some uncomfortable news, or like, go get that person and that.
Yeah, well,
like,
I
what do you
mean,
do?
I'm an assistant director now.
Yeah, okay.
So generally, that's for us to do, not
Right.
a PA.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Ginger, this is Kassem.
So
That's
Did I see you
Ginger.
last time?
no, I wasn't
No.
here.
Heidi came
Oh.
with me. She
Yeah.
drove me here.
Yeah,
So how did you?
Should
So
just
you
hang
were
out.
working on the show, and then she stole you to
to
come
go be her assistant and work and live out here with her.
when
Yeah.
you were doing what show?
I don't drive. Neither
Joey.
does Robert. None of
Joey.
us drive. And I asked Ginger to come out here with me so that she could drive and live
Yeah.
with me because I was going to be living
And
in
I didn't have a
California.
license at that point.
Yeah,
P.S.
Chicken.
right.
Chicken calls me, the production coordinator on The Sopranos, and he goes, "You know that Ginger doesn't drive and doesn't have a license." And I was like, "No,
No, I had told you that I didn't have it yet.
no." He told me.
No, he told you after I failed the test the second time.
Or whatever the fuck it was.
And that's why we love Ginge.
Oh my god! And then my ex shooter, she got to LA and he took you around
Yeah.
driving
Yeah.
to get you.
Just to kind of get used to it.
I don't know how we went.
And
for it.
McBoobs helped me a lot. Heather.
Well, you didn't know her yet, though.
McBoobs.
Matt LeBlanc's assistant.
Yeah.
I must meet McBoobs.
So Matt LeBlanc was on Friends. When Friends ended, he went and started a show called Joey, and that's what
I
you got
watched
hired
it.
to play his sister or girlfriend.
His sister,
Sister.
and I
Yeah.
and asked Ginger to come with me.
Yeah.
Because they wanted me to drive. In LA, you have to drive to set.
Right. You
I was
drive
like,
yourself.
I'm used to getting picked up to go to work. In New York, they pick you up at your door and they
Yeah.
take you home.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it's so much easier to get around
In
in
New
New
York.
York.
Yeah.
Right.
But
That's the
in New
ironic
York,
part.
they really take care of you. Here, they're like, yeah, you get yourself to set.
Well, they actually don't do that in New York because they didn't do that. They didn't do that on Sopranos until season. Remember, I was taking the train to work every day at Silver Cup. Or were you? Was that
Season 4,
four? I don't know, but season.
No, you were getting
I-
picked up when I was there.
Yeah,
Everybody
I
was
probably
getting
just
picked up
started
when I
getting
was
picked
there.
up because what they would tell us to meet a van on 43rd Street and
Oh, I
9th
hate that
Avenue,
shit.
and
I
I would
remember hearing about that.
Yeah, so I
wasn't
would have
there
to
for
go
that.
meet the van when we would film anywhere else. And then Silver Cup, they were like, "Oh, we'll have a." I think they would have a van there, but we just like decided taking the train is easier. So
easier.
I don't
there
even
would be
remember those
times.
days.
There would be times where I'd be like 10 minutes late to work, and somebody would be like, "Oh, you're 10 minutes late," and I'd be like, "Yeah," because I was talking to people on the train about Sopranos because they wouldn't. It was like the biggest.
You were still taking the train to work once the show was
I think
airing?
it had to be season
That's fucked up.
3 when I
2 or
started
3.
getting picked
No.
up, maybe. Yeah, well, because we didn't make a fuss about it because it was New York City. Like,
Right.
it's super easy to take a train
Right.
to
But you were
work.
a kid. You were taking the train by yourself at that point?
No, so I had my uncle's wife would take
Was
me.
your guardian? Your
Yeah,
set
my guardian. You'd have to have a guardian on
Right.
set. But then I think as a kid, you're only allowed to work like 8 hours, and my family signed something saying like you could keep them for as long as you need them. Please take them.
Please take 'em.
They wanted to sign something saying I could only be home for 8 hours a day.
That's amazing.
Please,
and you
keep 'em.
I was telling her when we did her podcast yesterday. So when you had your first kid, Bama, do you remember when I came over to meet Bama?
Yeah.
And she had Percocets, like painkillers, and I was like, come on, just let me get some of those. And you're
Do you
like,
remember this? I don't remember this.
you're like, look at my beautiful baby. This is such a great moment. I'm like, how do you have a refill? I'm like, how many of them? And you were like, you are a fucking asshole. And I'm like,
remember.
I'm like, just turn your head around. And I'm like going over,
Don't
fucking
look.
cracking the
Did
bottom.
you get any?
Oh yeah. I was taking you weren't happy, but I did acknowledge the child when I
Did
first
I know
walked
that
in.
Did acknowledge the child.
Yeah.
Did I know that you took them?
Yeah, you know, I don't want to put anybody on blast. I might have been underage. How old is Bama?
No,
you weren't
you
underage.
were of age then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's an age for Percocet, giving people Percocets.
No, how old are you now?
I'm 35.
Yeah, Bama's 12.
I wouldn't
12.
have liked
Okay, so I was
that.
23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have liked that story. That's probably why it's not in my mind anymore.
Right. You pushed it. Well, you were also like breastfeeding. And,
I was probably
you know,
high
Yeah.
if I was eating the Percocets. But no, at that point,
No,
I
you
wasn't
weren't.
taking them.
It was before you were in so much pain.
When I was in New York, I was taking them. So that was...
I think there was like some sort of like party that we went. Remember what time? Did we go to a party like in your? I don't know. Like we went to a party like downstairs somewhere and we were drinking and hanging out. And then like after we went up to her place. Do you remember that?
At that time?
At
with
that
Bama,
time?
as a
I don't
baby?
know. I just remember like that's just a thing I'm thinking of right now. Can
Or
you-
was it?
We had
or was it the
parties at my
premiere?
house
Didn't we
years
have,
ago.
Wasn't there the premiere of the last season? Was downtown somewhere, and you came and you had just had Bama.
The premiere of the last
No,
season?
that wasn't it. What? So can you
In
tell
LA?
people?
No.
Can you tell people what happened to your? So you lived where?
Wait, were you talking about my LA apartment?
No. I was talking
No,
about
New
New
York.
York.
Oh, so I was probably still eating them. Remember, I told you what happened. I was like, that was it. After I watched that Superbad and the, and I was like,
Well,
sure,
say-
I want to watch Superbad. And he's like, we just watched it. I was like, okay.
But then you looked down and you were holding your baby, right?
Yeah,
You were
I
like,
was
oh shit.
Oh, I'm gonna stop taking those pills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember how I couldn't move.
No, I know.
So that was intense.
Yeah.
So can you tell people where you lived in New York City and what happened?
Oh yeah. 123 Second Avenue was one of the buildings, the first building to go down in the Second Avenue explosion. That was my house.
Yeah. So tell people what Second Avenue explosion was.
The Second Avenue explosion was some creepy landlord thinking that she could combine the gas lines for two of her buildings. So there was 3 buildings on the corner of 7th Street and 2nd Avenue, right next to St. Mark's, famous St. Mark's. And she was combining the gas lines. She had her son do it and a couple of contractors. They did. Con Edison came by and said, you can't introduce gas to these pipes. And then they did, and the sidewalk exploded.
Jesus.
2 boys died, and before you knew it, all 3 buildings fell down.
Yeah, huge
She
fire.
called me in L.A.
Yeah, she was in LA and I was on set and one of my friends texted me and said, I think Dre's apartment is on fire in New York. Is she there? And I'm like, no. So then I started texting and calling you. And
You
then
go,
she finally picked
dude,
up.
turn on the news. And your apartment's on fire. I was like, right, because that'll make L.A. news.
Yeah.
She's like, it's big news.
Yeah.
Turn on the fucking television.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And if you were there at the time, you'd all be dead, right?
No, because everybody did get out of those buildings.
So how did 2 boys die?
They were in the restaurant downstairs.
yeah.
So one boy was the busboy who had just come to America to change his life or to have the American fucking dream.
Right.
While these fucking slumlords are combining gas lines for their American dream. And the other boy was on a date with a girl and she was waiting outside for him and he had gone in to pay or something. Like, I don't know why he went back into the restaurant. And the restaurant exploded.
Yeah.
See, that's why men and women have to be equal because they both would have went in to split it, and then she.
You're an asshole.
It's just not fair. It's always the guy. You know how do guys have to fucking take it on the chin all the time?
What happened to those
Crazy.
the landlords?
Okay, well, right before the first trial, the son turns up dead.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
Yeah, really strange.
And now she's in jail. There was a huge. It just recently happened. It was all over the papers. Because I'm 70.
It was in the papers.
It was in the fucking papers.
Not in the funnies.
This was in the saddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, though, it was in the news just now that
Yeah.
she went to jail.
Yeah.
So
Really?
she's in prison.
What, she just went to prison?
Yeah.
When
the
did the
trial was going on a
explosion
long
happen?
time. It's right before we started Shades of Blue. When was that?
Second season.
No, it was the first season. Because I had just taken
So
a
that
New
was-
York job.
yes, so
and then
that
I
was-
couldn't go home. I was like, I don't want to take this job now. Now I have to really get a place in Manhattan.
And
that
just now
15?
she went to prison.
2015.
I think it was 2015.
14 or 15.
I still have a lawsuit going with
Yeah.
them.
Really?
What's the theory behind the son dying? Like, is there?
I think I could be totally wrong about this. but
Allegedly, we say.
Yeah.
Allegedly,
It's not
maybe
liable.
I would say that it seemed like there was an addiction, a battle with addiction.
Oh, it had nothing to do with like a cover up or like a.
I think
No,
that
I'm sure this pushed
his
him over the edge.
guilt
I would imagine.
Yeah.
over what happened.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
If
and
that's
then
what happened.
Maybe there was some bullshit involved.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean,
Right.
if you're, what kind of mother this was? Was she Livia Soprano? Who knows?
Yeah.
Was
So
she
you-
Gemma Teller?
You spend so much time with her. So I want to ask you, if there was a reality show that was, so we were talking about earlier, like Kassem says, it'll actually be coming out after this because we're stocking up on episodes for coronavirus. But when you watch a reality show,
Yeah.
you put all 2 hours into a blender and then a little bit of juice comes out. And that's like the greatest part of the show where you're like, oh my God, that's the part they show like coming up next, this. And you keep waiting to the end of the episode.
Right.
So if they did a reality show on Drea, what do you think would be the thing where everyone would be like, oh my God?
What's your juice?
Yeah.
I mean,
Hi.
I don't know.
What's up?
What's up?
I mean, you said earlier you react
I don't know either.
emotionally
Yeah.
sometimes to things, right? Like, is it
No,
just?
I mean, I think we all do.
yeah.
I mean, I
Because,
think
you
people
know-
would be surprised how funny you are.
Am I funny?
Yeah.
I
No,
don't
you're
think so.
definitely funny.
No, you
I'm
are.
not really.
They'd probably be surprised
you're-
how hot she used to be
like-
too, right?
Your dirty sense of humor.
I'm filthy, like my dad
Yeah.
and my mom.
Yeah.
But
But there's got to be more, like, you know, she has that big house. Sometimes she doesn't leave for weeks. She's playing gongs in there. Like, there's crazy shit going on. You gotta let people know. Like,
It's
what would-
actually not that interesting.
really, well, you're
Yeah.
probably just used to it. It's like a scab, right?
It's
Where
like-
somebody's like, oh my God, what happened to you? You're like, it's been there forever.
It's like if you saw us the way we sat around and hung out most days. It's
I'm a mom.
pretty boring.
my life
The
is
kids
being a
are the
mom.
awesome part. And Monkey, the old lady.
Yeah, Dre's not the awesome part.
well, maybe that would be the great part of explain Monkey.
Oh, you explain Monkey. She's the
well,
greatest.
let's see. We call her Monkey because
Yes.
of her hands.
Yeah.
Because they're like shaped like this, right? And she has long knuckles.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like a fucking monkey. You drag her little fucking
But
knuckles
who is
on
she
the
to you?
floor.
we talking about a human being?
Yes. Yes, she is.
Monkey was my nanny growing up.
Oh,
She raised me for the most part, completely,
Yeah.
all the way, 100%.
Yeah.
And then when I was 21, she was on vacation in Florida. This is when I was in the old rehab. And then she had a heart attack on the airplane on the way home, and they said that she needed a heart transplant. So they took
And you
her.
gave her your heart. That's why you're such a bitch.
Yeah, I gave her half my heart. That's why I'm a cold-hearted cunt. She has a monkey's heart.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
So when she was, so she had this heart transplant in Florida. She couldn't come back to the United States from Florida.
that works.
She couldn't come back from Cuba until she had her heart transplant. Once she had the heart transplant, she did not want to go back to her family in Florida. Her niece was taking her Social Security checks. She was not letting her sew. She was making her bathe twice a day. At my house, she knew she could bathe twice a week.
Yeah.
But I was living with Mike, my boyfriend at the time, and my roommate Eric. And I was driving Monkey back to the airport because we flew her into New York to go to my grandmother's 80th birthday after her heart transplant. And we were taking her back to the airport to go back to her family. And she started crying in the car, saying, "No quiero regresar ahí, no quiero ir." That means I don't want to go. I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know where to go. And I looked at her and I was like, "Oh my God, I can't send her back on that fucking airplane. I can't let her go back." So I called we didn't have cell phones yet, but I stopped off at my dad's store and I called my roommates and I was like, "How do you guys feel about a little old lady coming to live with us?" And then me and my boyfriend moved into our living room, and we slept in the living room for the next. I slept in that living room until the apartment burned down.
Yeah.
So she had the bedroom.
Yep.
That was it.
Wow.
Well, that's
So I was
nice.
21.
Anyway,
the little old lady.
she's the most entertaining person in the house besides the kids.
So she's been living with you for over 20 years.
Yeah.
More than that.
Well, over
My
20
whole
years.
life.
Yeah.
But
Whole
you-
life.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you moved her in with you outside of your family
Yes.
for over. And then how did you make the move? Like when you first decided to go from New York to LA, you just said, "Hey, come on, we're going to LA," and she's
She
like, "Okay."
came everywhere we went.
Yeah, she goes everywhere.
She lived on the tour bus when Shooter was starting out.
We go to clubs, we go see bands, and like, come on, monkey. And she's like
Monkey's
walking in
coming.
with a fucking cane, walking into
Everywhere.
the club. She
And how
goes
old is she
everywhere.
now?
84?
Is she 84, 86? I don't know. She's born in 35.
I mean, that would be probably the juice
She's
of the
about to be
reality
85,
show, right?
no? Or
Yeah,
just turned
sounds like
85.
that's a
She,
star.
you know what? We
Yeah,
did,
she's
we incubated
and she talks so much shit about everybody,
Everyone.
and
Really?
she only speaks Spanish. You were raised speaking Spanish.
Shit
She speaks
talker.
Spanish.
She
very
must
well.
love your kids so much, right?
Oh my
It's
god!
everything.
Like a ridiculous amount.
It's everything for
Everything,
her.
yeah.
Blackjack, especially right
Yeah.
now.
Ay, mi niño bonito.
Because he looks just like me as a baby.
Yeah, whatever he does, doesn't matter how bad he's being. Ay, mi niño bonito.
Babosa.
So, what is your most memorable Sopranos story when you talk about Sopranos?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It was definitely a moment that I was in, right?
Ugh,
I mean,
see?
it had to be.
Yeah, because she was only there for one season while you
be
were working.
quieter.
But sure, it was probably all about you.
No, 2 seasons. I was there 4 and 5, and then I went back for 6B, the bonus.
I feel like you were there from the first day till the last day.
know.
Just so
Me
you
too.
know,
I
I
was
swear.
It makes no sense.
Yeah. So what's like when you're sitting
I-
around in a bar and people, if someone's like, "Oh, you worked on Sopranos," there's not like a story that you have that you go to? Where
Well,
you're
there's I mean, I mostly just talk about how it was a big family and how much it was the best job ever, and it changed my life for so many reasons, mostly because of the people that I met and connected with, and just I mean, even from like, it's where I met Kristen and Michael DeCasper and, it kind of
Genevieve.
everybody,
Yeah.
it really, really changed my life, like my career.
You
my
met
life
Kristen on that
personally.
show?
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Yeah.
that.
So, yeah, it really changed my life.
Not Nancy.
No, I brought Nancy on.
Oh, okay.
But
This is
I'm
the
trying
crew, guys. We're having
yeah,
like
we're talking
major
about like our
crew
friends.
talk here.
We all.
The people
Yeah.
who ran the entire gig.
Yeah.
I would say. I think one of the
You had fun in Vegas.
I can't talk about that.
Yeah. She was just about to have one that she was just about to say. But
I
go
can't
ahead.
talk about. And I
What's the
can't. I
one
can't
you-
say no.
You
I
had
can't
fun in
say.
Vegas?
Yeah, when we went to Vegas, because Jim would. A lot of times they don't take the PAs. So, but Jim would be like, "Well, you go where I go."
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, okay. So we were going to Vegas and that was a whole thing. And they gave him like this, I think it was when the Caesars Palace had just opened, like the all suites like building or something. I don't know. But they're like, Jim needs this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, and I'm all upset because I'm like, I want to go party. I'm like, I want to hang out. It's like our day off, And they're like, Jim wants you to come. I'm like, oh, so I'm all upset. I go up to his fucking hotel room and he's like, get in here. He's like, look at this place. It's fucking incredible. He's like a little kid and he's showing me around. And I just remember like even him being like a little kid, like at that point, he's like at the height of the show, right?
Yeah.
And he was all excited and like, and embarrassed kind of. He's like, can you believe they gave me this place? I have a butler. There's like a putting green. It's like a 360. I'm like, we have to have a party. I'm like, we have to have a party. And he was like, you think? I'm like, for sure. He's like, all right, well, if you plan it. He was like, I'm like, done. So I planned this huge fucking party in that hotel room. In Jim's room. And that was our Vegas rap party. And it's probably hands down to this day one of the best parties we ever had.
Yeah.
And it was like, there was only, I would say maybe 15 people from the New York crew, like the department heads, but like Kristen was there and Jeff and Nancy and Genevieve, like we threw down. That was definitely
As far as
a
partying
highlight.
goes, where does our crew rank of the crews that you've
all time.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what that's all I
teams,
care about.
Do you remember the softball games? I feel like you.
No, I would be sleeping. That shit would be early in the day.
Oh my God,
I
we-
could
was our
never.
we started
even
a softball
crazier
team.
than the Joey crew.
Yeah, but like in a
That
different
was
way.
Psycho.
But that was like, I feel like that was like more contained and like because it was all happening in a dressing room. Like we did shit everywhere. There was like another time where we shot
That's true. We were all over the place.
at the Orchard where Christopher and Tony were like, he was driving the backhoe and they were digging up a body or something. And we partied at this fucking hotel there, and I made friends with like 2 old ladies who ran the karaoke machine. And I basically pimped out Jim, Michael, and Steve Buscemi and was like, got them to sign shit and do shit so that the ladies would A, bring the karaoke machine every night for us,
Right.
and B, leave the bar open like later.
Yeah.
Were
then
you
they
with
were
us in
supposed
Asbury
to.
Park?
No. But that was a sick one. That I got some Michael Imperioli. I did some karaokeing. I have some sick pictures from that. Like that was fun. That was good. That was a good time.
Because I don't care about when you talk about like, well, I don't know. There's just when I hear that we were the best, like when it comes to partying, that's the pride.
That's your pride.
That's where it's like,
Yeah.
hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Fucking were.
Yeah.
We were good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we partied
my
on
God, we
set.
partied
though. I mean, we
everywhere.
If there was a dinner party, we
Yeah.
were drinking at the dinner party.
Yeah.
A lot, but you know what? You know what's crazy is I couldn't. Like, even when I got older, I would never drink on set because I would turn bright red because I'm
Right.
fucking Irish and
Right.
whatever. But it's like there were times where we would have like a wedding scene and there would be 100 tables. It was like, okay, I'm in the background. I could fucking have a little fun here. I could,
Right.
But yeah, when we would do dinner scenes and people would drink, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because my like first 3 drinks, I turn bright red.
Right.
And I start like, it's very clear something's going
Yeah.
on,
McCheeks over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the best was in the dinner scenes where they're like fucking eating all the food in rehearsal.
Always.
Yeah.
And it was
And
always
they'll remember
delicious.
be like, guys, we need the food for when we're shooting.
Yeah.
Fuck
And
that.
we're gonna do
fucking-
100 takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not us animals.
Yeah.
That's going to be good for the rewatch podcast. Try and find Robbie drunk in the background.
Where's Robbie?
It
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
Were you there for the scene that when I did the Pada Bing podcast? Did you do that one?
Yeah. He's great.
Okay. He asked me about the scene where I think it was the one where Livia died or something. The one where we're all sitting around.
I
and there's
remember
a
that.
staircase, and then somebody comes down the staircase and then goes back up. The Vic guy asked me if I knew who that character was that goes up and down the stairs. Were you there for the filming of that scene? Because I don't remember a lot
I was
of
there.
stuff.
Livia was gone by the time I got there, so I wasn't there for any of that stuff.
What? Do you know what scene I'm talking about?
I do remember because I remember there was like it was rare that we all worked together.
Everybody was
Right.
there.
We were all together. I do remember that, but I have no idea who any characters were, so I wouldn't know who. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
I didn't know any of that either. But what my point is that we were all sitting. Christopher and I were supposed to be stoned in the scene.
Shocking.
Yeah. So we thought that we should smoke weed.
Oh boy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You weren't there for that?
No.
We got so fucking paranoid. We lost.
Oh my god.
I mean, I know that I was. I'd love to ask Michael because I don't know if I'm remembering things accurately. That's why I was wondering if you were there or
Right.
if you were there. And I know
I was
that
there, but I don't remember.
they put red eyeliner in our eyes so that we would look stoned. And finally, I was just
You're like, I don't need that shit.
let's just get stoned.
Yeah.
You know? Last time I ever fucking smoked pot on set.
You just couldn't handle.
What ended up happening?
Yeah.
I
Did you
don't
just
know. I
forget?
wanted to ask somebody if they
Did you have
knew.
lines that you couldn't remember?
Well, you blacked out from weed, or you just don't remember?
We were hysterical.
You
I
went in a
think-
paranoid blackout.
I need to watch the scene again. I think if I watch the scene,
It might come
I'll
back to
know
you.
what-
For
Yeah,
someone
this
who's
is a
done-
rewatch podcast is actually
Yeah.
a very good idea for
Yeah.
a lot of reasons.
For
Yeah,
someone who does so
exactly.
much drugs, you sound like a real lightweight. It's like you're always blacking
don't
out. You don't
do a lot of-
remember
I
shit.
don't do
It was like
anything.
back in the day where you talk about got sent off to rehab and all this
Oh,
shit.
I
like
was.
you were-
That's when I was a baby.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
What's the name of the podcast again?
Made women.
Made Women.
Made women.
Made women.
And where do we find that to download? Because
Oh fuck! I don't know the
I know where because I heard
Yeah,
it
let's
yesterday.
plug it, 'cause
Somehow
we're-
You
they
remember
asked-
it?
So here, yeah, of course, it's where you get.
madewomen.co/
No, that's ridiculous. You go where you get Apple Podcasts. They
Just-
know people
just
that have
search
podcast.
Made
app.
Women.
They gave Drea a piece of paper like this to read it, and she was like, "Thank you for listening to what is this again? What am I like?" Had no idea anything going on, and then finally she goes. www/. I'm like, oh my god, somebody's got to help you out, kid. People are very smart, and the other. Let me tell you something. When somebody's already listened to your podcast and made it to the end, you telling them where to listen to it, it doesn't exactly have to be the most specific thing in the world because they've already figured it out. They're listening.
Is that me or the producer?
well,
It's you not knowing what to tell the producer.
if you've watched and or listened to this podcast, this podcast goes up the same day as your episode with
Yeah.
Robert.
No. Your first episode of your podcast is dropping the same day as this podcast is.
Oh.
So we're letting
wow.
everyone know. Go
Nice.
over,
Go
listen
over and
to
watch
Switch
your
over and
episode now.
go.
Made Women.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's going to be
Search
you
iTunes or where you get your podcasts.
watching
Me
Sopranos.
and my buddy Chris Kushner watching The Sopranos, going through
Yeah.
the entire show as a relate more than a rewatch.
And people find you, Drea de Matteo, on Instagram. Do you want to tell people where to follow you? Fuck no, right?
No, I'm private.
Well, I'm happy.
I'm gonna follow you right out of the studio. See where you go.
I'm happy that we got to share Ginger with the world for a little bit
Yeah,
because
Ginger, you were great. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming.
You
Thank
have brought
thank you for
so
having
much
me.
happiness into my life over the
Yeah.
years.
You know how much I love you.
You really have. It's like
You-
there's so few people that you can see, and it's just like that rush of like
Yeah. It all just comes right
happiness,
back.
and it's
yeah.
family, and it's
Well, that's how I
this.
feel with all you guys, you and Jamie, especially because to me, like you're the babies, right? So you're like
they're
my
still
little
the
babies.
Yeah, and there was always
So-
like, there's times where for some reason you're running late to set, or whether you're like, I want to smoke a cigarette real quick, or this, and she would always have your back of like yelling over the thing, like letting people know, like, yeah, all right, well, he's taking a piss, okay? And I'm standing there fucking smoking a cigarette, like, thanks, Ginge,
Yeah.
just risking it all for us.
All the years of having to deal with PAs in the like after The Sopranos, they're always pissed off, annoyed, making faces, the whole fucking thing.
Well, we got lucky. We got to work together again on Shades of Blue.
Oh,
in like
I
a whole
know.
different
But that was,
capacity.
yeah, totally different. She was the boss of, the boss of the. Well, you weren't PAing. Who was the PAs
No, it was the
on the
second
show?
AD.
I don't even remember. Who
I
was
might
the
get
PA.
back into acting just so I could work with you again. Fuck everyone else.
You should.
Because she's going to be
favor.
UPMing next.
I'm gonna do this. We're just gonna keep letting this get bigger, and then
Yeah.
you come back on here. And thank you guys for coming on our little
Thanks,
podcast.
guys.
Yeah. No. Thanks for having me.
us.
That was fun.